3, 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Southern. We are back, but this time I am turning the tables on the host of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. It's the bold, the beautiful, the dad bod himself, Mr. Piers, motherfucking Austin. What's good?
Damn, bro, what an intro, man. I'm good, man. Thank you very much for having me on your show, brother.
Yeah. So let's talk about your podcast, the Shooting the Shit Uncensored podcast. It's
Sure.
number 3 that I listen to. I listen to a bunch of others. Are we good with the audio?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. So let's talk about Shooting the Shit Uncensored. You've had some great guests on. You've had Tyler Gunn on. You've had Al Snow on. You've had Molly Holly. You've had a bunch of others. What got you into the podcasting industry?
To be honest, it was just something I really fell into. It was something that, a few years ago, I was, in a lot of wrestling Facebook groups. I thought, what would be fun to do a little wrestling podcast in some wrestling Facebook groups. And that sort of started off. And then I was like, what? I'd like to interview wrestlers, and just started contacting, reaching out, and was very fortunate early on to have some pretty cool guests. Like, I think my second interview was like Thunder Rosa when she was the NWA Women's Champion. Then, like, after that was Zicky Dice when he was the television champion. You know what I mean? So, like, that was when NWA was really hot, just before the pandemic. And then, I just was like, okay, cool, this is a lot of fun, and just kept reaching out to people. And, the Australian scene was something that I really wanted to focus on as well. So it just grew from there.
Now, obviously, this weekend you are heading up to Kingdom for the very first time with the man who should be the Kingdom World Champion, Vinnie Vain. How are you going to go in there for the first time knowing that Vinnie should be the world champion?
Well, I mean, I think Vinny should be the champion of every promotion that he's in. I think he brings a certain level of star quality that is missing in the current scene today. There's a reason why we call him the only real superstar in Australian wrestling. You add in the fact that we have Banks now being part of our stable and being part of our crew, and it just goes to show that we will be the most, dominant force in this business.
Now, let's talk about your time in FWA. Whose idea was it to bring you into FWA?
Originally to commentate, or
yeah.
Because that was 5-Star Flash. So he originally wanted to bring me in to do commentary with Cam Smith. And, that originally I went there, I did one show, and then, me and Fivey spoke, and there wasn't really like a fallout. It was more of like, I think, understanding what worth is as well. Like, I was at the sense, whereas like I'm not going to go and do your shows, like do a show for free. Like, my time is worth money. Like, we're not demanding and making, no one's getting rich off wrestling or anything like that. But still, when you have, your time, it's worth something. And that's where we had that little bit of conversation, and it looked like it wasn't going to progress any further after that first show. Then, he came back to me and said, no, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'll we'll do business. But predominantly that was Fivey's idea to bring me in to do commentary. Sorry, what was that? You cut out.
You still got your Piers? Or we lost you?
Yeah. No, I'm here. I haven't left.
All right, cool. Awesome. Just got a bit of a lag for some reason. Now I can hear properly because it's got me headphones on now, so I can hear.
Oh, perfect.
Now, so that's awesome. Yeah, so All right, let's talk about what got you interested because I usually start every interview with like that question. So, what got you into wrestling?
What got me into wrestling was seeing it very early on. I was about like man, less than 5 years old. And like you have to like when I grew up in kind of the golden era of professional wrestling. Like, you know what I mean? Like I remember seeing Hulk Hogan for the first time and that being like, whoa, right? And that was kind of like the thing that I first saw. I can remember as Hulk Hogan and being impressed. But man, I've always had a thing for the bad guys. Like I like the assholes. So like I saw Roddy Piper and him hitting Jimmy Snooker with the coconut and everything that Roddy Piper was doing, and I was just like, I was mesmerized by Piper. Like I was the biggest mark for Roddy Piper as a kid.
If you could interview any legend of the wrestling business, like your top five, who would you want to interview?
Vince McMahon, number one. Top five. I definitely think Vince. Hogan, Flair. Hogan, Flair. Oh man. It's so fucking hard. It's so hard because it's like it's hard to do like three straight off the bat I've been able to drop, right? So McMahon, Flair, and Hogan. Because I feel everyone else would then go Rock and Austin, but then it's like Mick Foley, there's like I don't know. I'm gonna go with the three. And if I come up with two more later, I'll come up with that.
That's fair. All right. Let's talk about the Mikey Lord interview. I actually watched. I'm like, oh, this is getting really good. So, what's he like as a person? Because I've seen him wrestle for many, like probably 2015 was the first time I saw him wrestle on an IWA show where he won the world title. So that interview, let's talk about that for a second because that got a lot of buzz. It's probably, I think, like one of the top viewed interviews you've done this year alone. And you've interviewed a lot. You've interviewed like Robbie Eagles. Who else?
Pretty much the who's who in Australia.
Carter Deans. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, let's talk about that for a second because that interview really got like a lot of buzz.
Yeah, man. As far as you want to know what Mikey's like, dude, I don't really know Mikey that well. Like that was probably the longest conversation that me and Mikey have had with each other. I've been honest with Mikey, like how I felt, how that podcast went. Like I spoke with him after the fact, and I felt like, and I said this, bro, like to him, so I don't really feel like there's anything there that I'm sort of doing, but I felt like for the most part, like he said, like, hey, I'm gonna own my mistakes. I'm gonna, I'm manning up and all this sort of stuff. But then, like his next breath, it was like, but fuck everyone else because they're the ones that put me in this situation. They're the ones that did me dirty, and it's like you can't say, hey, I'm gonna own my shit. I'm gonna own my fuck ups, but then like in the next breath blame everybody else and not be, you know what I mean? Like you're not really being accountable. You're saying the right thing, but then you're just basically, and I was honest with him. I just said, look, I found like I felt like that was contradictory for the most part. There's been a lot of stuff come out afterwards as well from that interview that like I feel that the next one will probably be a lot different as far as like how if there is a next one, I should say, like I feel like how everything will go and the demeanor of the podcast will be a lot different. Yeah, like that's pretty much all I can really say. Like I don't like, yeah, like it did some numbers, but in the grand scheme of things, like, you know what I mean? Like with stuff that's come out since then and stuff that I've seen since then, like I'm kind of just left there going like, man, like what the fuck? What, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like that's where I'm just left. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not getting involved with the politics and the drama
Yeah,
outside of it,
yeah,
bro. Because at
that's
the end
fair.
of the day, man, I've got 3 kids.
Fair.
You know what I mean? I've got a full-time job. I've got everything else that I'm doing. I don't have the time to mentally
Yeah,
invest in other people's bullshit.
that's
And
fair enough.
that's kind of where I take it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, let's talk about AWA because I've never been to a show,
Sure.
but July 8th, I am finally gonna do that big old green tick. And I'm
Yeah.
going to be attending AWA for the very first time in Hurstville. The last time I was there, World Series Wrestling was down there for their, I think, double hair in Sydney, like 2019, I want to say ish, give
Sounds
or
about right.
take. Yeah. So, what's it like working for AWA? Because I've heard nothing but like really good stuff about that company.
Yeah, I mean, EWA is a company. I've been there since the start, bro. I was there for day one of the show. First show that I did there, it was I did live commentary over a PA system. You know what, bro, and the vibe that it had there, like that first show had like 600 people plus, and it's like you go to a lot of shows, you realize like to get 600 people to a venue, and like, man, that's impressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to get 600 fucking people through the door, that's not an easy task, bro. But like, they did that show, that the electricity there, that was wild. Then the next show, I did solo commentary. That was the first time, I think, in Australian wrestling that someone had gone in there and done called a show
Yeah.
like by themselves solo, doing both color and play by play. And it was funny because leading into that, they came to me and they said, hey, we have an idea for a gimmick for you that we're going to give you split personality at the end of it, that's going to pan out, and realize that it was only one commentator the whole time. And it is like, dude, as someone who's an advocate for mental health and mental health awareness, bro, I just felt like that was a little bit, I don't know. I declined to do that. I said, nah, I don't want to do that. I'll pass on that. Which they understood, and they were respectful for that,
Yeah.
bro. Because I just said, look, as someone who is such a strong believer in people getting their mental health right, and getting their mental health healthy and being right, I don't feel like making fun and drawing attention to a mental illness is the right thing to do. And they were cool with that, bro. But yeah, overall, EWA has been great. Great bunch of people to work with, a lot of fun. The shows, like, for me, I wish were a little bit more regular. Like, I feel like doing shows every 3-4 months, it's hard for a company to really gain momentum. And yeah, we see a lot of companies doing that, like AWS, FWA, like company. And look, man, to run shows isn't cheap, bro. So I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, yeah, run more shows, because like sometimes, man, like well, not sometimes, but it does. It costs a lot of money to run a show and to have all these people and the logistics of it as well. So I understand that. But from a selfish point, I kind of wish that we would have these companies running, monthly shows, because, whether that there's, you're a fan, would you attend, monthly shows for multiple promotions? Well, that would mean like pretty much most of your every weekend, like multiple days on a weekend, like a Friday, Saturday would be wrestling related.
Yeah.
As a fan, would you go to those shows?
Yeah. Because I think, yeah, for sure. Because I think a couple years ago, I had a show on a Thursday, show on a Friday, show on a Saturday, and then the Dogs Knights game on the Sunday. So it was like wrestling, footy. So that was like 2017 or so. I think it was IWA, um, um, DY, PWA, Parramatta, Newey, Charlestown, and then the Dogs Knights game, like back to back shows. It was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm not doing a triple header ever again. It's just too exhausting.
Yeah, that would see, as a fan, bro, that cooks you, man. Like, dude, I've done weekends where I've worked double shows, where I've like worked a Muay Thai show doing commentary on a Friday night, then backed up and done a wrestling show on a Saturday night. But then in between, then on a Friday night when I've gotten home at 1:00 in the morning, I've sat down and knocked out 3 podcasts with international guests, and they've done the same on the Saturday. So then by the time Sunday comes around, I'm sitting there going like no voice and just like, I don't want to look at the screen. I don't want to be around people. I just want to like lay on my couch with my favorite humans and just watch Bluey.
All right, Piers, where can people find you on social media and your upcoming appearances at shows?
People can find me on social media, on Twitter at Piers Austin, on Instagram at the Piers Austin. You can find me this coming week on the 23rd. I will be at Liverpool Masonic Hall. I will be commentating for Steve Jez Promotions for Muay Thai and K1 fights. I'm excited for that. Then on the 24th, I'm heading down to Maitland with my boys Vinnie Vain and Banks. We're going to be wrestling for Kingdom. Well, we're going to be performing at Kingdom. Following week, I'm going to be at Impact Wrestling on the Saturday, the 1st of July. I'll be ring announcing the show at Wagga Wagga for Impact Wrestling. So that's a huge one. Yeah, bro. Then the 8th of July, I've got EWA, which there's going to be something really special happening on that night. So make sure you guys tune in for that. I'm just trying to think. Also July 1st, just going to give a special plug to FWA. They got their second last show on. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there to be in with the boys, Nathan and Vinnie Vain and Banks. But best of luck to those guys. Best of luck to FWA second last show. And I've spoken, and I just want to say this, and I don't want to take too much of your time, but like FWA is one of those promotions where there's a lot of people that say a lot of shit about them. And to be honest, from someone who sees firsthand what goes into it and stuff like that, FWA has given a lot of people a lot of opportunities to come down and apply their craft and to get better at what they do and to get reps in on shows. So regardless of that, I think, we have to show some respect there that, you know what I mean? Like, let's not, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of hate and a lot of people that laugh and shit like that at FWA, but I feel like, man, they did serve a purpose there. They did give a lot of people opportunities, especially like a lot of up and coming wrestlers that weren't really getting much match time or show time. And to get that, and even myself, bro, like, he gave me a shot on commentary. He gave me a shot to be a manager and gave me a live mic on a show. So, you know what I mean? He gave me a chance to shine, bro. So like at the end of it, thank you to FWA.
Good old FWA, guys. The world's most famous arena, the Judo Dome, for the second last show. And then the St. Mary's Band Club, I believe, with the 11 internationals. 11. That's right. You heard it here first, guys. 11 internationals for the final show in November. Tickets are available very soon for that show, but next week. And FWA has got former WWE superstars Kalisto and Lindsay Dorado. Piers, you've been the bold, the beautiful, and the badass motherfucker. Much love, and guys, we will see you all very soon. Hopefully, I'll be at it. I've got no wrestling this weekend, but next weekend, guys, FWA, the Jewel Dome for second last time. Piers, thank you so much, and we will see you all next time. Peace.
Peace, baby.